Stacey Augmon, UNLV legend, the Plastic Man, NBA star, and ex-UNLV assistant coach, has made his triumphant and needed return to UNLV basketball. This is a huge deal and a great sign for the health of the program that we love. This is the Let's Run podcast. Hello, folks. Welcome into the show today. As a UNLV fan, I woke up a couple of days ago. This news is not from yesterday, but the day before, to see that Stacey Augmon, a UNLV legend, part of that famed national championship team. UNLV still the last non-power team to win a national championship in basketball or football is still UNLV, and that's that 1990 Runnin Rebel basketball team with Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, Anderson Hunt. Obviously before my time, but growing up, I remember coming out to the Thomas and Mack, and I started coming to games during the Lon Kruger era. That's when I was old enough. And then into the Dave Rice era. It was always very, very reassuring to see Stacey Augmon on the sideline as an assistant coach. Stacey has been a great advocate for the city of Las Vegas. But I thought he was a very important part of the program, and its continuity and its relationship with the community and with the ex-stars of times past. Then in 2015, UNLV, 2016, actually, sorry, this would be in February or January of 2016, UNLV unceremoniously fired a really good man who had all the right intentions and was doing everything in his power to get the Runnin Rebels where it needed to be. A guy who could recruit well, but a lot of people were frustrated, and rightly so, with his coaching in Coach Dave Rice. And that decision, that offseason, losing Chris Beard, the Marvin Menzies situation, then the failure of TJ Otzelberger, was really the catalyst for Runnin Rebel basketball just kind of falling apart and being pretty irrelevant in the city of Las Vegas for the last 8 years. We hired Kevin Kruger to try and bridge it back. Kevin didn't have the chops to get UNLV basketball where it needed to be. He had 4 full years, head-scratching losses, couldn't really do it. There was an effort in Kevin's time to reach back to the old UNLV basketball players, to people. We retired Anderson Hunt, our starting point guard for the 1990 national team, during Kevin Kruger's era. And, but there wasn't a great relationship between Kevin Kruger, and even though he was trying, I just don't think he was always a great communicator and ambassador between UNLV's past and UNLV's future. And he wasn't a great coach either. But we landed Josh Pastner, and if I was incredibly critical of the hiring of Coach Josh Pastner initially. I didn't know anything about him yet. I was just embarrassed by the whole process. I was embarrassed because the school, the administration lied to the city of Las Vegas about Kevin Kruger's contract situation, ending up wasting millions of dollars for an athletic program that needed to fire Kevin Kruger on firing him with a secret contract extension and buyout clause that they didn't tell the public about. In a really embarrassing situation. And then we had the whole Brian Hodgson situation where we thought we were getting our coach, the guy from Arkansas State, who ended up going to South Florida, who at the last minute kind of ran out on us. And then all of a sudden we're with Josh Pastner, and I look at Josh Pastner's resume, and there's some nice things in there, but there also is there's a couple red flags. And so I was very skeptical of Coach Pastner. And I made that pretty known publicly. And I think that was a mistake, and I think that I've paid for that mistake. But if people still hold that against me, I think that it's completely fine. But bringing back Stacey Augmon, and I realize this isn't my usual college football or Pac-12 stuff that I've been posting on YouTube, Mountain West Pac-12 stuff. But I just wanted to say that I feel like this is such a great step forward for UNLV basketball. Stacey Augmon's role is like leader of community development or fan development. I don't think his title really matters. His job is going to be outreach to the community. If he wants to kind of be a GM, he can kind of step into that role, because a lot of programs are going that route with some of the bigger schools. A lot of them are having GMs. There are some G5 schools that are going that route as well. But you have to understand how badly hurt and betrayed a lot of the community felt by the whole Dave Rice situation. When Dave Rice was fired mid-season, we ended up adding Todd Simon as our interim coach. And a lot of people felt like Stacey Augmon, a guy who'd been on the bench for a while, was passed up, and there were fights between donors, and it really killed the UNLV Runnin Rebels for 8 years or so. And so I'm very happy, and I hope that this kind of signifies that. Well, a couple of things that it signifies. It signifies that Josh Pastner gets it. I have no idea if Pastner is going to put a successful team on the court yet. I mean, I think there are really good signs of that. I feel confident that he's recruited the right types of players. Um, I really like the roster. Miles Che, a very good point guard from UC Irvine. Um, then, of course, Kamani Hamilton, which I think was the slam dunk get of all slam dunk gets. He came from High Point. He's a 6'8" forward. He had previously played at Mississippi State. Can run the floor, super athlete, the best player on a High Point team that made the tournament. Um, I really like Miles Cunningham, the transfer from Alabama, who was a super highly ranked. I think he was almost a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. There's a lot of guys we could go over. Gibbs, uh, Draven, or whatever. From Illinois, I think is a great. He's an awesome ad. There's a lot of players on the roster that I really like. Howie Fleming. So, do I have confidence that Coach Pastner's put together a good roster? Yes, I do. But this kind of thing of bringing back Stacey Augmon to the program really signifies a great step in the right direction to mending the bridges that the whole Dave Rice firing and years of apathy and Pastner's still going to have to win to fill up the Thomas and Mack. A PR press release with announcing Stacey Augmon's return to Runnin' Rebel basketball is not going to, in and of itself, bring fans back to the Thomas and Mack. But alongside the recruiting that I feel like Coach Pastner has done as good of a job as could be reasonably expected of him, although we still do need another center on the roster. As of right now, Emmanuel Steffens is really our only true five on the roster. I guess you could play Jacob Benarbi at five. He's a 6'7", 6'8" forward. I don't think that would really work, but you could. Kamani, you could play as a small ball five. Laji Dembele, I guess you could maybe put in a little bit as a small ball five. But so the roster still needs a center. But as of right now, I feel about as good as I could have reasonably expected to feel about Coach Pastner's roster. But community outreach, when we are looking to raise money, to get NIL money, to get player revenue sharing money, when the school is approaching businesses in the city of Las Vegas, whether that be the Boyds or the Finleys or casinos or whoever, Stacey Augmon's the right guy to have be the face of that conversation. He's an awesome advocate, a good communicator, a good human being that I am just grateful to have home. And I think a great signifier of what is coming for the Runnin' Rebels. I feel very good about our basketball team. I can't wait for this. I wanted to do just a separate video. I understand that it's kind of a small topic, but I thought that it was worth, if the Let's Run podcast has anything worth its salt, being a Las Vegas and a UNLV podcast, I feel like Stacey deserves his own video and deserves his own, just gratitude for coming home, and helping revive the program that he has helped build twice, once as a player and then another time as an assistant coach. And so grateful to have him. It's awesome to have him, Jayhawk, Justin Hawkins back on the bench as an assistant coach. We got him away from Reno. And just good news all around. I feel incredible about the UNLV basketball team right now. This is going to be a very fun year. We're going to have a very difficult schedule. We're playing in the players' tournaments, which is going to be tough. There's a lot of good teams there. Our non-conference schedule, it looks like we might be adding a home game against Syracuse, which I would be very much looking forward to. So good times ahead for UNLV basketball. We're going to have to win the games, and I hope that the community can support Pastner as much as we can early on. Even though I know he won't have won anything yet, I do hope that we can get behind him, because I think he's the right communicator for this job and the right person for this job, of the candidates that we could get. And I think he probably is a better fit than Brian Hodgson would have been. And I think he's definitely a better fit. I don't want to speak ill on Kevin Kruger or anything, but I do think just communication-wise and resume-wise, obviously he has a legit resume as a head coach. I think he's the right guy for this job. And so kudos, welcome home, Stacey Augmon, and let's Run, Rebels.